Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's Daryl here. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Connecticut on the East Coast. It's about 11 a.m. here, Wednesday in Connecticut. Okay, today I want to talk about Ted Nugent, senior citizen rocker Ted Nugent, and he came out. He made a big announcement on his social media platform of choice, the platform for senior citizen rockers, Facebook Live. I'm sorry, I'm not putting anybody down that's on Facebook Live. I'm going to try to put that video here on YouTube. But so I watched the video, and I've said a lot of things. I'm 55 years old, and I a lot of times I don't remember, until I see a video like this. And I have met Ted Nugent before. I'm going to get to that shortly. Believe me, it's exactly how you would picture. All right, let me talk about this video that came out first. Okay, so he makes this video, and he talks about this his big announcement. He waits about 5-10 minutes into the video to make his announcement that yes, he's tested positive for COVID-19. He goes on an anti-vax spiel about nobody knows what's in this vaccine and nobody knows what it does and it was made in such a short time. The usual nonsense. This is pure nonsense. This stuff is all available. Anybody could see exactly how the vaccine was made, what it was made from, the process, the scientific methods. It's all available. It's not a big secret. But people like this, the big conspiracy thing where nobody knows, so he's spreading these theories. And then the part I hate the most is he uses the China terms again when he's talking about the virus, these racist, unsubstantiated statements about how and where this came from, which has resulted in daily proliferation of, unfortunately, of Asian Americans being assaulted here in America every day. So Ted Nugent was happy to make this video and just continue with this worthless rhetoric. And so he talks about how he was sick he couldn't get out of bed for 10 days, and he was hawking up this and that. It was a typical, disgusting, rude, crude Ted Nugent. You could kind of see why he's a Trump fan. I'll tell you the truth, I just got so sick of it. And I didn't actually watch the end of the video. Once he started with the spiel about the anti-vax stuff, it makes me crazy. These are the same people that claim to love America. They love America so much they hug the flag, and but they can't see that what they're doing is hurting the country and hurting our recovery by this nonsense about the vaccine, spreading this nonsense so that other people don't get the vaccine. So it takes longer and longer to reach herd immunity, and more people get sick and more people die, more Americans. And I don't understand how these people can profess to love America so much and do something that is inherently dangerous and bad for the country. You can't even argue that. So anyway, it's typical Nugent. And all of a sudden, as I'm watching this, it all clicked. I was like, oh my God, I've been face to face with this guy before. I'm going to try to find the pictures. I had my camera with me. Okay, it was around 1992. One of my best friends worked in a computer, made computers, worked on computers way back in 92, before the internet and everything. And he had, back then, Ted Nugent was touring with Bad Company. Somehow my friend had got in touch with one of the members of Bad Company. They needed a part for their computer, and my friend was able to produce it or had it or whatever. So the deal was we all got backstage passes, about 4 of us, and they set it up so we would meet Bad Company at their Connecticut tour date, and we would be able to go backstage, and my friend would be able to give the computer part to the member. I don't even know I don't remember which member of Bad Company it was, to be honest with you guys. And that was the deal, right? So It was a beautiful summer day. It was at the Thames River Pavilion on the New London sub base. First time, only time I've ever been to a concert there. It was a great venue, big, huge stage in the middle of a big, huge field. Great venue. It was a band, I believe, called Steel Rodeo opening up. Steel Rodeo, I believe. And they're going to be important in a second. I believe Bad Company played second, and then Ted Nugent. I can't remember who closed the show, to be honest with you guys, because I was backstage. So I don't quite remember. But so anyway, we get there. We had a little problem with getting our backstage passes. Apparently, the members of Bad Company had been given a tour of the sub base, and we couldn't get in touch with them to get they had our backstage passes, the members of Bad Company. So we had to wait till right before the show, when the band got back from their sub tour, till we got our backstage passes. We finally got backstage. Now, let me tell you, it was great. I had all access to backstage. There's campers. There's big campers in a square behind this big built stage in the middle of the field, with big layouts of food and delis and stuff and all that. It was so interesting. It was one of the first times I had been backstage, and you see the band members playing with their families. It was just like another typical day with these guys at work, and with their families, their kids, hanging out backstage. It was really interesting. All right, so Ted Nugent, all of a sudden, I believe this is before he went on stage. It was after the band Steel Rodeo played. I think that was their name. And I heard screaming and yelling, and everything else got quiet. And it was Ted Nugent. I don't know what trailer he came out of, but he was over at a table. I believe there was bottles of liquor on the table. I think that's what he was yelling about. And he is yelling at the members of Steel Rodeo, the band. And he's just dressing them down, going off. I'll kick you guys off, swearing at them, dressing them down in front of everybody. There's about 80 people in all back there in this big square of grass, with campers all around and buses all around this, in a big, like a half a football field square. And everybody's quiet. And Nugent just going off, yelling at these people. And they're just quiet, like shocked. I believe, because Ted Nugent doesn't drink or do drugs, and I believe it had something to do with that. Something set him off. And so he dressed this band, these guys down. Now, honestly, he's a tall guy too. Back then, I was kind of scared of Nugent, and I was walking down a walkway, like a catwalk, as Nugent was walking up, and he stops. And he said, "How'd you like the show?" He says to me, and I remember he's chewing his gum, and I couldn't say anything. I was like, ah. And that was about so much of my interaction with Nugent. But from what I saw, people walked on eggshells around this guy. He really seemed like an ass, and I prefer to use the term dick. Really, I'd rather call him. He was a dick. And there was all family. Like I said, there was all families, and he did this in front of everybody. I think it was over a couple bottles. I think there was a couple bottles of liquor or beer on the table, and that's what it was all about. And so that was my experience. One other thing, once he was on stage, I was behind the stage, and I heard later, I saw this thing come down, like I didn't know what it was. It was something got lowered, and I hear the crowd roaring out in front, and I see it come down by the drum set. Turns out it was a big cutout of Saddam Hussein. You guys might have heard about this story. I'm watching from the back side now, behind the stage, and I hear the crowd roar. Eventually, I see arrows come through the cutout. Boof, boof, boof. He's shooting the cardboard cutout of Saddam Hussein. Now, I'm thinking, how does he know that this wasn't going to hurt somebody backstage? Because I could see these arrows stop. And I don't remember any kind of hay bales or anything there. I don't know what they had for security measures. I could see the arrows going into this, coming out the other side where I was back about maybe 75, 80 feet from the back of the stage, seeing these arrows come through the other side of this Saddam Hussein cutout. So he's shooting. That was part of his show then, shooting Saddam Hussein with a bow, and the crowd loved it. Of course, it was on the sub bass and everything. And that's pretty much my experience meeting Ted Nugent. But when I watched this video and I saw his face right there in the camera, I was like, oh my God, I remember that face, man. And I was, to be honest with you guys, I was terrified of the guy at the time because we had been drinking and we probably had various substances on us at the time backstage, you know. I was all dressed in my motorcycle leather and long hair and everything, and I think I was terrified I was going to be searched and attacked by anti-drug, anti-alcohol Ted Nugent. I think that was my fear. So anyway, he was kind of a dick, really. You know, dressing down this band, this opening band. I don't think the opening band was. I think it was just their opening band for that particular show in New London. Like I said, I'm not sure, but I could swear they were called Steel Rodeo. I don't know if they're even still around or what, but these poor guys, I saw that, you know, me and the whole rest of the backstage, everybody saw Ted Nugent just tear these guys a new one. And that's that was my impression of Ted Nugent. Kind of a dick. All right, you guys have a good Wednesday. I'll be back later with another video.